Hey everybody, I just wanted to do a really quick video on a single setting in Business Center that can make a huge difference in your model, and it's a setting that with the standard Trimble template is not probably not set to where it should be, and a lot of people make this mistake. I've even seen a couple model builders recently who have had models where I can tell they did not adjust this setting, at least when they took the video or picture of what they were doing. So it's really simple. I just want to run through it and show why it's needed and what happens if you don't have it set correctly. So the setting that I'm talking about, if you go up to your project settings, you go to computations and then surface. The setting we're looking for is maximum sampling distance. Trimble says that this is the maximum distance between samplings, automatically generated vertices, along lines used as break lines in a surface. So most site models are all break line surfaces. So if you don't have that set properly, it will do some funny things with your model and it won't give you an accurate product. So I just want to show a couple examples. So here is a finished model that I did. This was a really simple, it's kind of a different job. It didn't need a real exact model, and there was some weird tweaks that we did that I did with a contractor. He actually sat through most of the editing of the model building, and we were happy with this surface. It's not perfect. You can see there are some flat triangles here, but this was good enough for what they needed. But you can see these the distance between these triangles is about 5 feet if we dimension it. 4.7. So that is because when I use when I change the sampling distance setting in Business Center, I usually use 5 feet for finished products. Sometimes I use 15 feet while I'm building it, just because it speeds up the model regenerating a little bit. So this is a finished model. I brought it back into Business Center as a tin, so it locked all these vertices in, no matter where that setting is placed in Business Center. So using all the exact same line work that was used to build this model, I built one in this file of Business Center, but I did not change that sampling distance setting to be 5, 10, or 15 feet. So this is what it looks like. And anytime you see this spiderweb effect, you know something's not right, and that setting is not adjusted properly. So what it's doing is it's not creating any additional triangles along any of these lines, and it's only going to horizontal breaks, vertical breaks in the lines itself, and then also along arcs. I think this is a smooth curve. It does generate some additional triangles. I'm not sure what the interval it uses is for that, but so this model is not, if you see this, it's not good. This is, in 3D view with the elevation coloring added. You can still see that spiderweb effect of all these triangles that aren't really being computed like they should. If I turn on the better model, you can see every 5 feet it creates a triangle. So another thing that I did was I built a cut fill map that shows how drastic of a difference this makes. And mind you, these two surfaces were generated from the exact same 3D line work and then nothing else. So if I go to the cut fill map, you can see, this spot right here has got almost a foot of difference between the two surfaces generated from the exact same lines. This right here, cut of 8/10 from one surface to the other. Here's 6 inches. It varies along this whole surface because of the lack of triangles created on those break lines. And this is the default setting in Business Center. So if I were to go up here and change this, all these surfaces are all live except for the tin surface I brought back in. So, and then the cut fill map is live as well. So if I change this to 5 feet like it should be, and I let the program run, it changed both surfaces And then you can see the cut fill map is all zeros, meaning these two surfaces are exactly the same, which they should be. Like I said, I saw a couple model builders that hadn't had that setting changed, and maybe they were just waiting till the end of the project before they exported it. But I suggest at least a 15-foot sampling distance when you're building a model. I've changed all my templates right down to 5 feet because sometimes I forget to change it at the end of the project, and it's one less thing for me to forget. So I leave mine right at 5 feet. If it takes too long to rebuild my models, I set the properties of the model to not auto build. So rebuild method by user means that I tell it when to rebuild. So if some models get slow, I change it to that setting. But other than that, there's no reason why it should be on 10,000, 100,000 feet. That basically means it only creates a triangle when it's forced to. So this is just one quick, simple setting. If you don't do that right, you can really, really change the outcome of a project when you export it and not see the surface that you're actually looking for that you built. So just remember, everyone, I suggest when you save a new template, make sure you have that saved one more time in the settings, computations, surface, and that maximum sampling distance. Change it to 5 or 10 feet, somewhere in there. You'll definitely see your models look a lot cleaner. And if you see a model that has that spider web effect, I would immediately question the model that you receive and to make sure that it that it is built correctly for what you're doing. So if it looks like that, I would not use a model like that. The only time you'd ever really you'd have a model that looks like that is if you have big flat planes like a tennis courts. You probably don't need a 5-foot sampling distance. You don't need any sampling distance there. You just need to just have a couple triangles to make a big flat surface. But other than a sports field or a really flat inclined plane, there's no reason that your model should ever look like this. So just be on the lookout, everyone, and make sure you change that setting in Business Center before you do any work and even try to build any models.